Here is a customer's laptop with a reported faulty screen. It's not in pristine condition. As you can see, it's missing a key as well, but the main fault is reported is a faulty screen. You can just see here we've got a mark here and also a mark here. So we're going to power it up. There we go. So definitely faulty screen. We're actually getting something on the screen here, which is an improvement on the last time I started it up. The backlit went on, but there was nothing on the display. So I was beginning to think there was an issue with the cable that goes from the laptop to the screen. When you buy a replacement screen, you do not get the cable, you only get the actual screen itself. But this one appears to be working okay at the moment, apart from where it's broken, so a replacement screen panel should be all that we need to do. So let's power this thing down. Oh, it's Windows 8, yuck. One of my least favourite operating systems. Okay, now we've turned the camera around and we can take the top of this off. Should be able to just prise it off. That is the cover off. Oh wow. I don't know if you can see down here. I'll show it up to the camera a bit. You can see it's kind of rusty. So it's obviously suffered a little bit of humidity, or it's very old. Either way, it's got to go out. But we need to order the right screen, so we've got to take this one off first. This particular design has a bracket on either side which the screen will be attached to, so you've got to release the bracket in order to be able to get to the side of the screen. Right, should be able to see. I've got these screws here. A bit close to the camera. Slightly magnetized screwdriver tips are your friend. Right. We can see here the serial number, or the model number of the screen, and make a note which side the connector goes on. Sometimes there are variants and you want to make sure you get the right variant. Tape will just hold down that connector, there we go, into there. And there we have it. Let's just see if that's the right way for you guys. There we go, you can see the model, the camera stays in focus. Oh, there we go. So I looked around for a reasonable priced screen replacement, and laptop LCD screen.co.uk came up with the best price, and they had them in stock, so I ordered them up and here it is. So first thing we'll do is open it up. And just like the picture, our connector is on this side, which is where we want it to be. So let's get the laptop and fit it. Right, so here's the new screen. And the first thing we can do is connect this thing, the data and power connection, to the new screen. I don't know if you can see that in a picture. But you're just sliding that in. There we go. Make it a nice solid little click. Some of these have retention bars to hold them in place, this one doesn't. So that's that. Then we can restore the 3 screws which go into these brackets. 1, 2, 3, and this one's off camera, so you can see it a bit. Not quite. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. Which is the linkage to the hinge, which is kind of the main point. Let's put Right, before we tighten them up, we probably want to take off this plastic cover, which we can see here, otherwise we won't be able to get these things from under here. Should have done this first. Yep. This side should be the same thing. Let's just take that off like so. Right, now to finish mounting all the screws. These mount points are a little bit on the tight side, so you'll just have to watch out for that. Yep, and last but not least, I think we'll have to loosen this one just to get that last one to go in, because it's tight like the other one. There we go. You'll notice I did disconnect the battery. It's always a good idea to disconnect the battery before changing anything inside so it's not live. If you can see here, these corner brackets here, they came off, so I'll tuck those back on. So they're in the right place for remounting. Right, there we go. Right, I'll just swing this back down here. Okay, just a slight adjustment of this into its proper guide place. You don't want those wires getting pinched. Right, let's fit at least a few of these on. We'll check it all works and there isn't some other problem before we put the screen trim on. So as you can see, we're just doing the process in reverse that we did before. It is good to make sure that the cables are following the channels that were designed for them. If you pinch a cable too much, then you'll give it poor connection, and that's asking for something to go wrong prematurely. There we go, and we don't want that. Hopefully this will last the rest of the life of the laptop for the customer. Right, so just to recap, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws here which hold the hinge and the screen to the back plastic, and then doesn't look quite happy. And then we have the 3 on each side which hold the screen to the hinge. Let's just see if this is going to start up for us. Let's put the battery back in place. And this customer didn't leave me with a power adapter. Normally I insist on being left with a power adapter because everyone is different, and customers have no idea the actual number of hours it takes to do these jobs, rather than the somewhat condensed and prettified YouTube versions or what you might imagine. Okay, let's just see if this plays ball for us. There we go, we've got a working screen. Good, let's just turn that off. Right. Now all we need to do is attach this thing. Oh. That, as you can see, is pretty messy, so I'm going to clean that up off camera and I'll be back in just a jiff. Right, as you can see, that is a little bit better. So cleaned it with water and with white spirit. So you'll notice on this thing here there's a little lip on the end, so that has to tuck in to the reciprocal side on underneath, and then these pieces here which are proud have to tuck in underneath the screen. So we'll line these up to engage them, and then we'll tuck them underneath like so, and then the rest of this should just click in. I cleaned the fingerprints on this side as well. It's always good to do that before putting the cover on. There we go. Try and get all of these little plastic clips to clip. It's worth mentioning, when you buy a replacement screen, all you're buying is the display digital part. You don't get any cables or this bezel around the front or the back piece. They all have to be purchased separately, so it's worth just making sure that you take that into account when you're pricing a job. If something is obviously broken, you have to try and find alternatives. Okay, well, that is us, our replacement for the LTN 156AT32, which is a compatible replacement, so it's obviously works. And in fact, after having put it together again, I like to doubly make sure. There we go, just in case we've accidentally caught a cable in the clicking together. We shouldn't do, because I made sure that all the runs for the antenna and the camera USB cable were all channeled into the right ducts, but if you don't do that, you'll risk pinching them, catching them, causing them to not work. It's always good to do a job properly, save you a lot of heartaches.